Welcome to the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise podcast with global sales trainer and professional speaker, LOIS Kofi. Each week, it is her goal to share inspiration and education for you to be, do, have the best health and wealth and wisdom for your life.
All right. Happy Friday, everyone. This is Coach LOIS and the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise live podcast. If you're tuning in live, I just want to acknowledge I just moved into a new home. So you can probably see a new background, and this is actually not where I was supposed to be. So I'm just living the dream here. And I always joke, if you saw how I was able to make six figures from my podcast, living in the place that I just moved from, you would be shocked because it was very, very small. And now we have this huge, beautiful home and the internet isn't working. So here we are in Studio B, as I will call it. So you guys who are watching the live, as always, we do the show pretty much almost every Friday. And I just want to make a couple of reminders. If you're tuning in live, comment below, hashtag live. If you're tuning in on the replay, hashtag replay. And of course, if you see value in today's show, please hit the share button. I'm actually bringing in Dr. Theresa, and we're talking about a topic that I haven't had on my show yet. So I'm so excited to have you here, Dr. Theresa, from Right Away Leads. Everyone knows that I teach on lead generation and I do it the organic way. But I do know a lot of people have great success working with you in Facebook ads. So I know that you have this Facebook ads masterclass coming up in September. You've had so much success in paid advertising that you got picked up as a senior ad buyer for a marketing agency, which is so cool. So I'd love for you to tell more about your story and how you got so good at paid advertising.
Well, thanks for having me, Coach LOIS. It's a lot of fun to be here, and Studio B is working out pretty good. It's looking pretty sharp there. Yeah.
Thank you.
And they call me Dr. Theresa because I love to tell a quick story here. You know, the day I graduated with my bachelor's degree in occupational therapy, this field that very few people know about, and I hope you never need to know about it. I thought to myself, I think I'll spend 20 years doing this. And after 24 years, that's when I was like, okay, I really need to move on and do something different. I didn't want to continue going to the same clinic. Over that 24 time span, my level of personal excellence took me to a master's degree as well as a doctoral degree in occupational therapy. And it was that's why they call me Dr. Theresa. So I've retained that title throughout my marketing journey because that's where I decided to go to next. I really like the marketing part of the healthcare world. And now that I'm outside of the healthcare world on a day-to-day basis, I enjoy it even more so. I started off making videos for people, and the videos became a conundrum because quite often my client would not know what to do with them on their website. So I learned about building websites and search engine optimization, that famous SEO word. Spent about 18 months in a mastermind, not only learning it, but teaching it also. The two guys who ran that mastermind, they asked me to stay on board with them and teach the ladies in the group. So once a week, I'd have calls with just the ladies, have some fantastic friends out of it. And the one gal, she was really into social media. So we dove into that. I asked her to please teach me. And Coach LOIS, I remember the day she showed me Facebook ads. And I thought, well, isn't this interesting? They know what you're watching and they can give you the same ad or something related to that. I was hooked. That was like 2016. And I started running ads and learning more about the big players in the industry, discovered Molly Pittman, and jumped into her mastermind. And it was like a kid in a candy store. I didn't know where to turn first. There was so much to learn and so many different ways to go about it. So I spent another year and a half with her and really got a lot of the basics down, and then went into a higher level mastermind with a guy named Kurt Molly. Now, Kurt has come up with an award-winning Facebook advertising method called the BELT method.
Huh.
I like to call it the 3T method just to keep things simple.
Okay.
So the way this method works is the first thing I do when I go begin to work with a client is usually my clients want to run out the door and say, buy my stuff. I can't wait to talk to you as my customer. They're practically drooling on their customer through the internet. And, what else do you want? What else do you need? I could sell you this. Do you need a discount? Is the price okay? Sign up here for my free consultation. Here's my shiny stuff. And all of this like high energy pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So dialing it down, rolling it back, getting the client to understand. And this is what I'd like everybody here, when all the listeners and viewers, is understand that when you're going out there with your product or your service, people may or may not be aware that you exist, or worse, that your product or service, that the entire industry exists. An example of this is one of the colleagues that I've learned from. He actually engineered disposable laundry sheets.
Wow.
For washing, not for drying, for washing. So he came up with an entirely new product and had to educate the public about his product. So you need to know if your client is at that stage or not.
Mm.
Where's the consumer at? Are they aware that the industry even exists? Now, once they've been educated, I call this tickling their interest. And if you tickle their interest up, for those of you that are listening to the replay, I'm holding up a sign that says tickle.
I love the visuals, by the way.
My magic wand. You got to have a magic wand.
You're funny.
Yes, it's gleaming white right now. My magic wand.
I love
because
it.
That magic wand, you've got to have that tickle fantasy, that ignite the delight, intrigue their interest, build their curiosity, and then remind them, tantalize them. I've got the sign up tantalize, and the wand color is now red. Oh, it's actually blue color now. Because when you're tantalizing them, you start to get more of a focus. Some of the listeners may remember a department store chain called Kmart. And Kmart had blue light specials. If you were in that store and that blue light went off, you were looking for the blue light, because you're already in the store. You're aware of the products and the value that's in the store. Now that blue light goes off and you are tantalized. You are tantalized. You are starting to drool. You want to know what that blue light special is. Mm-hmm. So that whole second phase of advertising becomes tantalizing and creating attention, staying in front of the client, staying in front of the consumer, staying in front of the prospect. Because the third stage of everything is to actually titillate. Now, when you're titillating, this is, we're going to tone down the wand here to its red color. Yeah. And with that, when we're titillating, the customer has bought your product. Let them know what other ways they can use it. Send them some email responses. Did they receive the product? Ask for testimonials. Ask for reviews. Let them know about the special next offer that you have coming up. Titillate. Stay in front of them. And with Facebook advertising, these 3 steps are easily accomplished using video ads. Video ads are your least expensive way to tickle and delight and ignite that delight, create curiosity about your product. Short videos, 1 minute, 50 seconds, 1 minute, 47 seconds, anything less than 2 minutes. Perfect length for tickling their fancy. Now, once you've gotten their fancy and their interest, and you are set to see them more and more often on the internet, because that's how it works. Once people interact with that video, if they watch that video for more than 3 seconds, you can now retarget them. One of the things I've learned over the thousands of dollars I've spent on my own training and the hundreds of hours I've spent with my eyes bleeding in front of the computer is retargeting is the key. Knowing who to retarget when is like the chocolate syrup on your sundae. It's the wonderful, yummy part. Retargeting creates that interaction with the audience. Now, here's where you want to start to use a little bit of a longer video. If you have a longer video, let's say, Coach Lois, you were interviewed by one of your mentors. You had a fantastic video about that. That's perfect material to put into your retargeting audience. Now, you can also use that to tickle people's fancy as well. See, things are layered.
I love that. Can I ask a couple questions? Because I'm just like, there's so much. And I know I want to give a shout out really quick. I don't want to interrupt your flow, so hopefully you can hold on to that. But Sean Waite is joining us from Minnesota, and he says he joined when the big tickle sign was on the screen. So I will tell you, Sean, you missed out. You got to go back and watch the finished product. So yeah, if you guys aren't inside of my Facebook community, I just want to throw this out there. Dr. Theresa is there, so you can connect with her. Just go to healthyandwealthyandwise.com and join the Facebook group. That way you can see and be a part of the lives. And I just want to throw out there the reminder, comment below with your questions, so I'm not the only one that gets to be asking questions. So you talk about Facebook ads, but this is kind of like the, what do you want to call it? I don't know if it's the elephant in the room, if that's the right phrase, but there's a lot of people who are skeptical about Facebook ads. They're like, when should I spend? How much should I spend? And how will they work? Because the algorithms keep changing. I know people who spent $2,000, $5,000 and got zero ROI. And they were even working with a professional that was doing all the work and coaching them through it. So I'd love, when should someone do Facebook ads? How much is a good amount to spend? And is there any way to guarantee? And I can repeat those as you go through the answers.
Yes. Thank you, Lois. Those are great questions. I'm upset that somebody spent $2,000 and didn't get results. At some point you either got to cut and run or get a different person to help you. I feel badly that happened to them, because I know it happened. When I first started, I had this brilliant idea, I say tongue in cheek, of spending $100 a day on an ad. Well, when I looked at the ad before I went to bed, it only spent $5. Well, I've since learned Facebook updates once every 12 hours. You can watch it every minute. You can watch it once an hour. You can watch it every other hour. It's only going to update every 12. Don't know which one of the 12.
Right on.
I went to bed and woke up and $95 were gone with zero sales. Zero hits. Okay. Nothing. That was my first lesson in, oh crap, I need to pay closer attention to this or rethink this. Here's the good news. Video views, $1 a day works. You can't go less than $1. You can do $1 a day. You can do $2 a day. Not a big risk. Keep an eye on it. See if people are watching it or not. If they're watching it, yes, for $7 a week, you could start to build your audience. If they're not watching it, turn it off. Try a different video. I recently had a client. We started with 4 different videos. And the one that people liked the most was about a 1:50 excerpt I took out of an interview he did online with another marketer. So that particular interview, people gravitated towards. It was only 1:50. So you might need to try. I recommend starting off with 10. If you don't have 10, start off with what you have. Like I said, we started with $3 a day. Yeah.
There's a question. If you want to, Sherry Hughes Smith you kind of answered it, but maybe if you want to go deeper, is the $10 offer that she gets from Facebook as an incentive worth taking advantage of, or is that just their way to get you to spend more money? Facebook
has fantastic reps that can guide you. I highly recommend the Facebook Blueprint course. It's free. But they will give you suggestions that may or may not work for you. Like I have people ask me frequently, should I boost a post? No, quite frankly, you should not. When you're boosting the post, there's limited control over who it goes to. There's also a chance of it not getting to the right people. It looks like you've spent great money. It was only $10. What the heck? But if that $10 is like, the video ad strategy is $7 a day, is $10 a day for 7 days. You've got 10 different ways of reaching people at $1 each and communicating with them with a different message.
Cool.
And video, that's where people engage more so.
Well, that's why I do this. That's why I do video. I'm a big proponent of video podcasts, which some people are like, no, that's really stupid. But I love, would you ever boost a long podcast interview? I'm just curious.
I would not boost it. I would use it as part of an ad strategy.
Okay.
And that ad strategy is actually, Facebook has what's called the business manager. Some people use it. Some people have never heard of it. Now, if you think of your Facebook page, your personal page as this great big huge plot of land, and you want to build your dream house. Now you need a foundation. So you're going to put a foundation on that piece of land. And that foundation is your business page on Facebook. So you have the first two elements started. The third element that's necessary is to build that house on the foundation. And that house is your business manager for your Facebook ads. Inside the house, that business manager is broken down into separate areas or separate rooms. I like to consider the kitchen in the house as the ads manager because we love to cook food and we store it in the refrigerator. So when you're creating ads in your ads manager and you're storing it in your ads manager. Now, so yes, you need these different elements to be set up correctly in order for it to all work. I would take the podcast and put it inside the ads manager as part of your video view campaign to attract people to your page and to your services, and then retarget them depending on the length of the video. Like let's say if they watched 50% of a 2-minute video, they've watched for at least a minute. Now, given that our attention spans are like that of a gnat, a minute's pretty darn good. So you want to show that person and the people that watched a minute or more, you'd want to show them more information about you. You know, at this point, you are tantalizing them. Remember that blue light special in Kmart? You're tantalizing them with more information about what you have to offer them. And then after they've bought, that's when they drop into what's called your bottom of funnel. Bottom of funnel, these are easy to run because you're just reminding them to go back and buy more, sharing with them ways they can use it again. Strong call to action at the bottom because they've gotten to know you. You know, one of the items or analogies I like to use is buying a car. I mean, raise your hand if you've bought a car. Yes. Now, did you wake up and say, I'm going to buy a car today, and you walked out the door and bought a car? Or was it more of a process of, I think it's time to get a new car. What do I want on my new car? Was it scenario 1 or scenario 2? Probably scenario 2 for most people. And as you're thinking about what car you want to buy and what color, what features you want to have on it, you're now in the tickle stage and you're starting to get curious. What else do I want? And you start to compare things. So now you're being tantalized. Well, it'd be great to have that 2-door convertible sports car, but I've got a family of 5. So then you focus on what's going to fit you. Maybe it's the minivan. Maybe it's one of these great big huge long SUVs. And as you gravitate towards that, now you're starting to notice the dealerships. And somewhere, somehow, that dealership strikes you as, I'd like to talk to them.
Well, it sounds like it also, that's where it pays off to be consistent, right? Because if you're wanting to tickle, tantalize, titillate, all of the things, you got to be consistent as well, not just do one ad a month, right? It sounds like you got to be putting a little bit out there every day.
Yes, I highly recommend keeping it moving with those video ads. For $1 a day, you get 3 good ones going. You keep those chugging along. You keep the train moving. You keep stoking the engine of the train with coal. And that's because those 3 videos are running and constantly getting attention for you and pulling consumers and pulling in prospects, getting eyeballs. This is what builds your audience. And then, yes, a consistent message is key.
That's awesome. Go ahead. Go ahead. We do have some questions from the audience, but finish your thought there.
My thought is in regards to the copy that is what pulls people in. People will see that video first, and Facebook actually did a study on this. They will see the video or image first, and then they read the headline. Make sure it's a good catchy headline. Then they read the copy. There's your message. They'll look and see, who is this from? Then they'll click or take action on it. These are like millisecond actions that people take.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And just so you guys know, Theresa obviously knows her stuff, and we can only go so far. She's going to talk later about her Facebook ads masterclass, which I know I'm going to attend for sure. So thank you so much. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But Sean has 2 questions.
I see Sean's asking about custom audiences or having Facebook choose it. Sean, what's really cool, and this is my favorite part about advertising, is looking at what your audience likes to do. What are their behaviors? What are their interests? Where are they hanging out? Once you have a solid foundation, then let Facebook suggest to you what else is going to work. And it's okay to experiment with their suggestions, but make sure you've got a solid handle on what works for your audience. For example, if I'm selling a car, I'm not going to advertise to people who ride motorcycles.
Nice.
Yes. And your message goes along with that as well. If your audience likes bananas, don't talk to them about popcorn, which is a really simplified way of keeping your message congruent with what they like. But know what their behaviors are. What do they like? What is their lingo? I recently had to write ad copy for high school students looking for college degrees. And I'm not a mom. I had to like start calling my girlfriends with kids and grandkids that are teenagers saying, I need to talk to your child. What is their lingo these days?
That's awesome.
I had to know, popcorn or bananas. What do they like?
It kind of makes me think of the saying, you don't want to throw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. I mean, quite honestly, I would hire you before I would try to do this on my own. That's just my own thought, because not a lot of people have a huge budget in this pandemic world that we live in, right? So the ROI is really important. Sean has another question. Thanks, Sean, for asking amazing questions. He says, you need a business page to have a Facebook ad manager, but I guess he's heard that the business page is the least visited. So would you post and boost from the biz page and then share to groups and other pages? What do you think about that?
That's a great question, Sean. Now, yes, you do need to have the business page to have the Facebook ad manager. And even if your business page is not well visited, you still need to use those posts from that page. I know we had a conversation about boosting the post. I would not suggest boosting the post. From your ads manager, run your ads from there. Now, the more active your page is, this is an interesting unknown about Facebook. It's an auction. If Facebook sees there's a lot of activity on your business page, they push your ads into the lower pricey end of the auction. If your business page is not that active, you go more towards the higher end of the auction, the more expensive end.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. See, this is powerful Powerful stuff, because I've heard the same thing, and that's where I was sharing with you. I've heard people lose their shirt in doing ads, and I don't know who they hired or what they did, but I didn't realize that what you just shared.
It's one of those unknowns that we as a Facebook ad specialist I deal with, and I can't encourage my clients enough to post at least daily on your page, at least daily, Sean. Even if there's not a lot of interaction, and oh, my pleasure, Sean. He said, great info. Thank you both. My pleasure. Because one of the things you want to look at is, hashtag, using 2 or 3 hashtags in your posts to create more engagement. And when you're creating the videos, know that Facebook's artificial intelligence, their AI is so tight. It's so elite. They know what's going on in that video and will show it to people with those same interests or behaviors. So again, consistency with your message, consistency with your marketing.
That's awesome.
On keeping the focus of your page congruent with what your audience's interests are. I've seen people build out pages where the focus is on statistics, ad statistics, or specific tools related to creating ads. That's going to be congruent with what their audience is looking at. Now, if they start to talk about their dog, or if they start to talk about, my child's going to piano lessons today, that's not congruent with what their audience interests are, and it throws the Facebook algorithm. So that kind of great information goes on your personal page.
We'll talk about, because we're running out of time, and there's so much great content here. I want to invite everyone to your masterclass on Facebook ads. Can you tell us when that is? And I can post the link in the show notes as well and email it out to my list. But if you have a link, or just let us know how we can sign up for that masterclass and what you're going to talk about. Yes,
the masterclass is going to be Thursday, August on the brain here. Oh my goodness!
Psych.
Oops. Is everybody paying attention? It's going to be Thursday, September the 9th. It's at 1:00 on Eastern time, same time as your show, Thursday, September the 9th. And I'll get the link to you so you can put that in the show notes.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. And is it going to be 1 hour, 2 hours? Is it going to be like an extension of what you talked about today, only deeper?
Well, it's going to be more than what we talked about today. It's definitely going a lot deeper. We're looking at like 90 minutes with the Q&A. And what I like about the masterclass is I can show you my screen and give you different scenarios of as a specific way to look at the metrics that you should be looking at and why you should not be boosting posts.
Awesome.
I know we're on a podcast right now. We're live with video, but with the replay, it doesn't have a lot of value if I start showing my screen to talk about these key metrics for people that they need to know. I'll go into depth on those, as well as great resources for your videos, because a lot of people don't like to do their lives. So where else can you find video?
Awesome. Well, you've made me more of a believer, Dr. Theresa. I'm not going to lie. I've heard some war stories on Facebook ads from some of my coaching friends. So guys, if you see value in this topic today, if you know someone who's been struggling with Facebook ads and throwing money out there and not getting an ROI or getting some sales, getting visibility, credibility, being seen, being heard, being paid online is massively important right now, right?
Yes.
Go ahead and hit the share button. Make sure you sign up for her Facebook ads masterclass. And Dr. Theresa, I have one more question for you, but I want to just remind you guys of some really exciting things coming up with the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise community. Starting next Friday, it's September. It's my birthday month. And it's also September is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. So if you guys remember last year, I had a very powerful month of September. All of my guests have either struggled with depression, suicidal thoughts, and the whole gamut. So next week, I'm going to have a doctor talking about trauma and mental health and how that impacts you in your business and success in life. I've got Frank King. He's a 6-time TEDx speaker, and his first talk was actually about his own suicide attempt, because he was just done with life. I have Scott Mason, who's a super powerhouse Energizer bunny who struggled, with depression a lot throughout his whole life because he's gay.
Wow.
And the list goes on. We've got Monica Dubé also, who is all about the mindset and abundance mindset mastery. So all of these are meant to highlight September and Suicide Prevention Month. So if you know people who are struggling, people are feeling depressed, lonely, jaded, and they're looking for some hope, please invite them inside of this Healthy and Wealthy and Wise community, and be looking out for the marketing for that. That'll be coming out this next week. Other announcement is, for those of you who've been paying attention, I do have my virtual summit coming up in October. Also very inspiring. Some of these guests in September, the Suicide Prevention Month guests, are actually on my summit. So that tells you it's not just about business. It's about living your highest and best self in life, and how you can manifest and monetize your best life. So that's on my heart today. I wanted to share that with you guys. So go to manifestandmonetize.com, sign up today. Hope you can join me for that. Also, Dr. Theresa, it'd be great to have you be able to be a part of that and maybe be a speaker on the next one. So please share that information with those that you know and care about as well. So last question for you as we wrap it up. I always close with the same question. When you hear the phrase healthy and wealthy and wise, what does that mean for you, Dr. Theresa?
That means peaceful mornings. That means time for myself. That means a 3 o'clock dance break every day.
I love it. I don't like to be partial, but that's one of my favorite answers of all time. And I've been over 150 episodes in. So that was awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's almost time for your dance break, by the way. On that note,
I got my magic wand ready to go.
I know. Oh my God. You're so funny. So thank you guys for tuning in and tuning out. Again, thanks for also putting up with my Studio B today. This is not supposed to be my podcast normal place. So we improvised today. That's what we do in the world of technology, right? So looking forward to seeing you guys next Friday to see Dr. Mel Krug talk about trauma and the mind and how that impacts your health, your wealth, and your wisdom. So until then, guys, have an amazing week. Here's to your best health, your best wealth, and your best wisdom. We'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye for now. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, refer a friend, and please drop me a rating or a review. If you do that, I'll reward you with a free 20-minute free coaching session on crafting your journey to your best self. Reach out to me at lois@loiscoffee.com to claim your 20-minute slot. Until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.